Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, Dr. Abhinav Kumar MD. Today I am introducing you to one of our patients who flew all the way from South Africa to us in Patna for his hair transplant. Meet Mr. Greg George Bouquet. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
So, sir, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. As the doctor was saying earlier, my name is Greg, and I live in a small town just outside Cape Town called Bay. And yeah, as the doctor rightfully said, I've flown all the way from Cape Town Airport to come to Patna. Very easy journey. Did take me about 18 hours, but infrastructure in India has been amazing with regards to airports, connectivities, all of that. So yeah, it's been a very interesting journey.
Yes, but you had come for some other work as well, and that went well.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
I've been super impressed with any type of medical consultation I've had in India. I've lived in the UK for many years. I've lived in the US. I've lived obviously in South Africa, where I'm from. We do have the so-called five-star hospitals there, the so-called top-rated surgeons. But in my opinion, I've never received better medical care than I have received in India. The due care and attention paid to me throughout any process that's been conducted here has just been unbelievable.
Thank you, sir. How long have you been thinking about a hair transplant? You had a hair transplant 2 times.
That's it, yeah. So my first experience with hair transplant was back in 2016. I went to Colombo in Sri Lanka. It was a very highly rated, top-rated surgeon. The experience, if you don't mind me saying,
sure. We should recommend other doctors.
It was very painful in a sense. There was the doctor who was treating me was there with a nurse who was treating me through the procedure. In my opinion, it just felt as though the actual pain management wasn't managed very well. So it was quite excruciating. I sort of felt and heard everything. So it was a little bit traumatic. But other than that, I think he did a really good job on that first transplant. It was done over a day, so he didn't really have much time to do more than just over 1,000 grafts. But at that stage, I didn't really know much about it. I didn't know much about the procedure, and I actually flew out that day. So I didn't really have much aftercare information that was given to me either. So I proceeded to be in the sun and all sorts of things, which now I've learned obviously not the correct procedures and ways to maintain your hair transplant. Yes. And then the second procedure was only about 2 or 3 years ago. That was actually done in Cape Town, also by a top-rated surgeon, one of the best actual rated surgeons in South Africa. Perfect. So on the second surgery, okay, so just to explain, on the first surgery I actually had the FUE process, so that was relatively pain-free. On the South African surgery it was extremely expensive, so I actually opted for the FUT process. That was okay during the procedure itself. Again, it wasn't many people who were working on the surgery, so it was only 2 or 3 people working on the surgery, done over a couple of hours. I can't imagine more than, say, 1,500 follicles were transplanted during that procedure. But I tell you what, the day after my surgery and weeks after that and months after that, my face just swelled up. I had extreme pain in the rear of my head. It was sensitive up until about a year ago, and that was never explained to me. There was no aftercare given again with regards to basically what I needed to do post.
So you had we could say, painful post-op experience.
For sure.
And the first surgery was both are from top-rated surgeons.
Exactly.
Definitely we are not top-rated right now. But we try to do top-rated work. So what made you think of going for a third transplant?
So the FUT process, having gone through the FUE and having done 2 surgeries already, it was a little bit disconcerting in the fact that I'd gone through all of this work and pain to now still be left with a scar on the back of my head, and there was still a severe amount of thinning on the top of my head. So you could clearly see that the promises that were made during the surgeries weren't actually lived by. So I always thought in my head I would do it one day, but I just didn't know when and where.
And you were on finasteride for 10 years.
That's it, yeah, on finasteride for 10 years.
So you have saved a lot of hair.
For sure.
Yes, because of the drug.
Condition.
Yes, and then you found me.
Exactly.
So what's the story behind it?
So I got recommended Dr. Kumar by a friend of mine, Anthony. He actually lives out in the US. He lives in New York City, and he had kindly said that he had been for a hair transplant surgery and had been very successful. in a small town called Patna, which is only 50 kilometers from Buddha's birthplace, which would be an amazing place to visit. I'll definitely make a plan to do that next time. So he had recommended the doctor highly. I really entrust in Anthony's recommendation. He had showed me the work that the doctor had done. Said the whole experience was phenomenal. So it gave me a lot of confidence to come out here and to take his opinion, really.
So you did not have any fear before coming here?
Not at all. I mean, the level of care in general in India that's given to patients in privatized setups like this. Obviously, I'm not familiar with the government setups, but definitely in the privatized was, next level. Anthony himself actually works in the medical industry as well. So he works in the private sector. I obviously have private, well, not obviously, but I have private medical aid in South Africa, and so I did in the UK. So, once you have been through the system of getting that private medical treatment and then get recommended some place in India that's of that standard or of that level, if not better, then that immediately just gives you the confidence.
So in surgery, sir, there's first thing is the expertise. You choose a surgeon. Second most important, or the first most important, is safety. Then is the expertise, and third is the results. So you found all the three here?
For sure. So the pre even coming to Patna, the level of due care and attention that the doctor took with regards to, requesting my medical records, ensuring that we had proper online consultations prior to me actually visiting the clinic, him even being so kind as to shut down the clinic for the 2 days that I was here having the procedure. That was all just beyond any expectation. What really stood out for me was the fact that he was so kind enough to even pick me up from the airport, being in a new town, new location, bringing me to the clinic, making me feel entirely comfortable, going through a cleanliness and hygiene protocol that I've never experienced in any private medical facility ever in my life. Usually it's a bit of a rush job. They're trying to get you through. They don't, talk you through the process, go through exactly what the procedure is going to be, what the procedure is going to entail. And just the preparation work behind it was something that I've never experienced. So that immediately gave me confidence in the fact that I felt, cared for, looked after. I knew what was going to happen. I knew that the preparation work was done, post my head. My head was shaved in 3 different, lengths to ensure that the right positions, the right follicles were put in. The actual placement of the follicles as well, I could see with regards to my previous surgeries, that was never a consideration. It was something that was never explained to me. So this is the first time I've ever had that level of care with regards to how the hair follicles were placed. And then also the automation process with regards to automatically.
Yeah. So basically the teamwork, the way we were coordinating the surgery.
Yeah.
It was working like a song.
That's it.
It's like
Exactly.
The automation was
immediate washing of the follicles as they came out, as they were extracted from the head. I've never seen that before, because usually the follicles just extracted and left there, and possibly they are very sensitive, so they could have died.
Yes. Yeah. So out of body time of the grafts. Yeah. Putting the grafts simultaneously as they are coming out.
Exactly.
And being quick. Yeah. And how's your wound, from where we have taken the grafts? Is it painful? It is sore?
I mean, yeah.
Right now?
Judging off my last 2 experiences, I feel absolutely great. I mean, it's a little bit stingy because obviously it's still an open wound, but virtually 0 pain, and that's after the painkillers have worn off and everything. So I'm in a really good state and condition. As you can see, I've got no swelling, which is what I had before, and the operation was just finished yesterday evening.
So we try to match European standards in terms of surgery like this. Their surgeries are pretty neat and clean and very high standards. FUE is done. So we are trying to reach that level of standard in terms of out-of-body graft handling, swelling of the patient, the precision of the surgery, the quality of work, the density which you achieve. Yeah. So you think we are reaching that level in a small place like this?
I think you're far exceeding it, because the difference is in the usual environments that I've been and had these procedures in, there's not enough people working on you to be able to facilitate that. So at one time I had 7 different professionals working with me, doing the transplant, doing the cleaning of the follicles, extraction of the follicles, and it was immediate. It was this chain. It was almost like a symphony being played out, and it was just this beautiful process that was just going around and around and around the system, and there was nothing just left to die fundamentally.
Yes, because it's your own hair, we have to grow it.
Exactly.
It's out, it's
exactly. So to answer your question, I would say the standards that I've received before in the Western world would be down there, whereas your standards are up here, in my opinion. So that would be my own non-biased view. Yeah.
Definitely, we are trying to improve our marketing standards right now. So Sir is here endorsing us for his surgery. Definitely has not got the results yet, but we are very sure that he'll get a good result. And we have instructed him post-op care, which he needs to take. And he's a very healthy guy. He has a special diet which he has to take due to his previous surgery and previous operations. And so you are flying back to your hometown after some time from here, and you have been missing your place.
Sure, yeah.
Yes.
It's been a long time being away from home, but glad to have received such good care. And it's as though I haven't been.
So let's talk about India versus. Let's talk about India. You have a 3 months experience in India because of your previous engagements and surgeries.
Okay.
So what is different in India compared to, not in terms of medicals? Compared to other things, like people living here, people eating, the way they behave, the way they live. So what's different?
So I would say the most standout phenomena in India, and I can understand now why a lot of people travel out here, is the calmness, the stillness. Although there's over 1.3 billion people who live in a country not much bigger than the US, it's interesting that there's such harmony and synchronicity, and every bit of food that I've tasted has just been out of this world. So it's a super competitive environment where people are taking a lot more care and attention. It's not as though you're just opening a restaurant and hoping that it'll work out and serving bad food. No, you do get a higher standard, I would say, of businesses operating here due to the work ethic here being, I believe, on a higher scale. And I think the nurturing aspect as well is something that we kind of are missing a little bit, in society where I come from, in particular in Africa. There's a lot of disparity between different sectors and things like that, which causes a lot of conflict, disruption. People are quite angry, whereas you come here and it's a sense of peace and harmony. And people just care about each other. It's a beautiful place to get medical care because you're being cared for, whether inside the facility or walking down the street. You're constantly just being nurtured in a sense. It's not like you have to be worried or scared. Being in New York City, for instance, where Anthony's from, or being in Cape Town, where I'm from, you really have to be on guard. Walking down the streets there, walking down any of the streets here in any of the cities, even in Mumbai, it's a different level. It's people do care about each other, and that's an amazing.
One more point. I want to know about Indian food from you.
Sure.
That is, if I don't ask this question, I'm doing injustice to this interview.
For sure. So,
and what's different from your food?
So we tend to have very limited food with regards to taking bits and pieces predominantly from Europe, and having those sets of restaurants being established, or say specific sushi is quite big, or something along those lines. So it'll just be these set up restaurants that have taken or extracted something from other countries. The beautiful thing is, in India, the food has been hybridized to suit the local climate or environment, and although it can be a little bit spicy sometimes, there's always the option to not have the chili or not have the spice. But every single thing that you taste, you can sense the due care and attention that's been put into that specific meal. And it's a make or break phenomena. It's the sense that people need to make sure that food is beautiful, that food has been looked after, the food has the love and care within it, to be able to be good and be sold. So I just feel every single meal I've had so far, especially in Patna as well, the food has been absolutely incredible.
So you are a vegan. So
yes.
So you had some issues because of which you switched to vegan diet.
For sure.
Vegan diet is almost Indian diet. Without milk.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So being a vegan is easy in India?
It's the most easy place. I've lived in Dubai, I've lived in the US, UK, and obviously in South Africa, and to try and find vegetarian items on the menu, it's very sparse. There'll be one or two items in this huge menu. Even to try and find a vegetarian restaurant or vegan restaurant is impossible. Whereas you walk out throughout the streets here,
mostly it's veg.
It has a green ring with a dot in the middle, and it clearly states that it's a veg restaurant. But every single restaurant, if it's not completely veg, will have the little sign, which is the little green dot, and it'll say vegetarian meals available. And literally 3/4 of the menu will be vegetarian. So I think that's definitely why, in my opinion, again, where India doesn't have the health crisis that we have in the rest. I think the constant influx of a high fiber diet, not just committing to a majority of starches, things like that, it really changes the outlook, makes people feel happier through what they eat. So I think that's the lesson.
In hair transplant interview, we are recommending Indian diet and vegan diet, high fiber diet, and I think these things are absolutely essential to maintain your good health, and good health will also help you in having good hair and good skin. So that is there. So how was the staff here or the support team?
Yeah, I mean, I just can't recommend the staff enough. I mean, from the moment I entered those doors to the evenings when I left, I was so well taken care of. The preparation work, as I was saying before, the way during the procedure itself is always something that scares me a little bit because, it is a very long procedure and the pain meds do wear off after a while. So, you've got to make sure that somebody's always, paying attention. And as soon as I felt a little bit of pain, just put my hand up and immediately that was dealt with. So yeah, I can't say that and also, sorry, and thank you very much for the beautiful feeding me during the whole process as well. That's never happened before, I mean, it's...
Have we overcharged you or have we very expensive?
Well, on that factor, I would kick myself in 2015-16 when I went for that first hair transplant. I would have just come straight here. But if I could put it in a cost relativity, obviously I haven't had this procedure done in the UK or in Dubai or any of those places, but I have had it done in Cape Town and in Colombo. And if I had to do it on a comparative, it would be about 4 times less expensive to have the procedure done here. And unfortunately, that's actually why I had the FUT done in Cape Town, was because it was so expensive to have the FUE done in Cape Town that I kind of took a little bit of a hit, which I severely regretted. But if you only have enough to afford the FUT...
And the prices are parallel?
The FUT, it's still half the FUT price in Cape Town. Yes. So if you start factoring that in, flights, all of the bits and pieces, getting here, all of that, you would still come in at less what you would pay at any of the, I can guarantee you, at any of the Cape Town facilities that I've been to.
So what message would you give, how should you do your research regarding hair transplant? Someone who's looking for a hair transplant, you are recommending us, but how should one search a doctor? Because you have searched your doctor 3 times.
For sure.
So what went wrong during the search? Sure. Something went wrong.
So I suppose 2015-16, there wasn't much of a database with regards to trying to find the best places. There's obviously very good hospitals that you could look into, but the prices were excessive. So given the fact it's now 2025 and we have access to a lot of information, obviously we need to be scrupulous with it. But I would say the things that you need to look out for, at least of searching for the best doctors, trying to find interviews like this. There's an actual YouTube video. I'm more than happy to obviously put my phone number in the comments as well, just to make sure that you can prove that this is legitimate.
Yes.
But I think it's all about finding an actual person you can get a recommendation from. I think there's nothing more important than being able to sit on the phone with that person and discuss the potential of having an operation like this. And the mistake that I made was only doing, say, 1,000, 1,500 grafts in the beginning, and not rather, taking the 2 or 3 days and doing the full 2,500 grafts, getting it done properly once, and then having the proper aftercare descriptions, which the doctor will give you, to ensure that you maintain it properly and get the best results, because I think those were the failures. Other than that, I think just make sure that you look after your health is the fundamental. Try to eat as many high fiber foods as you can. That would definitely help. And anything to promote the growth. The anti-inflammatory turmeric is huge here in India, so that would also be a good one, just to eat a lot of turmeric.
So you recommend us?
Yeah, 1,000 stars. If there were 1,000 stars, I could get for sure. Yeah.
Thanks for recommending us, sir. And we did our best. We did a good surgery, and it was done very meticulously. We tried to ensure that every graft grows, and I'm very hopeful that he'll get a good dense crop of hair, and it will add to his volume, pre-existing volume. Sir is also going through another treatment, and I wish him very good health and a great life. He had a tough time in last 2 months, and he was going through regular checkups and some smaller surgeries in some other part of India, and he has recovered a lot. There's some more things to go, and I just pray to God that he just get out of this thing and goes back home, and he has a healthy life, healthy diet, healthy family, and children, and he should be happy for his next part of his life.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, sir.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.